Hello and welcome to a blustery, windy Wales next to the sea. I'm riding the Rebellion Way and today it's stage 4 on my way to Sheringham, approximately 60 kilometres. Before leaving Wales, I thought I'd grab something to eat, so I had a cup of coffee and a sausage roll at the Wales Deli. There's loads of places to eat there, cafes, chip shops. It's a beautiful little town. I always think of it as a holiday destination. It's great for crabbing, you can watch the boats. In the past, Wales next to the sea was a very important North Norfolk port and fishing harbour. It still retains a lot of its fishing heritage, and the car parking here is reserved primarily for the fishermen. The town gets its name from the springs and wells that rise up from the chalk ground, and it was actually mentioned back in the Domesday Book of 1086 as Gwella, G-U-E-L-L-A, which is a Latin and Gallicised combination word for Wella, to distinguish Wales from many of the other English cities and towns that had wells. Wales was designated as Wales next to the sea, but it wasn't until around about 1836 and the Ordnance Survey map system that Wales picked up its hyphens. That's the first account of the full name with the hyphens. Here's a quick look at today's route map. We're heading south out of Wales next to the sea down towards Walsingham. Just on the left over there is the Walsingham Light Railway, and you can catch a little mini train that runs between Wales and Walsingham, and that's worth checking out. That's quite a fun experience. If you're a bit of a sad spotter like me, I like trains and that sort of thing. The details can be found on their website. The route parallels the light railway, crisscrossing it over a couple of times in the first few kilometres. After Walsingham, we head east, taking in the villages of Little and Great SNORING, which are fantastic names. I'll tell you about that when we get there. Then we go past THURSFORD. There's another ford crossing in prospect for me, and then it's into Holt. After Holt, we meander through the country lanes towards Baconsthorpe, where we'll have a look at the old fortified manor there, and I'll tell you about the campsite. And then eventually we'll make it to Sheringham, where I'll catch the train back to Norwich. Just a few kilometres out of Wales next to the sea, and we go through the little village of WARHAM, arriving here at an Iron-aged fort. Welcome to WARHAM Camp. Just a small detour down this track. We're going to have a look at this Iron Age fort. It dates over 2,000 years ago. It was probably built for the Iceni tribe, and Queen Boadicea may have even visited this location. And the archaeological evidence suggests that there was some Roman occupation here after their defeat of the Icenian tribe in the year 61 AD. Another great location in Norfolk of accessible history. Free to come in and explore and take it all in. Look at that scenery. Now, depending on your interests, you might not be that interested in just seeing a large earthwork, but it is historically significant. This was created 2,000 years ago, and this landscape probably hasn't changed in any of that time, apart from a couple of buildings you can see. I should imagine that this is what the Icenian tribe might well have been looking out upon. Just down there on the edge of the site is the river Stiffkey. That would have been quite an important source of water for this location. It measures about 217 metres across in diameter, and it's made up of 3 earth-bund circles. The settlement itself was probably just inside, and archaeologists reckon that it was for significant members of the Anglo-Saxon tribes at the time. Probably not the entire village would be inside. This is now designated a site of special scientific interest due to the flora that grows here. There's a wide variety of species of plants. Following the National Cycle Route number 1, heading south. Lovely day, sun's out. Heading up towards Walsingham. Walsingham is famous for its religious connotation. Back in the year 1061, so legend has it, an Anglo-Saxon noblewoman had a vision of the Mother of Christ, Mary, who instructed her to build a shrine. In around about the 12th century, an abbey was built here, and that lasted for a few hundred years until King Henry VIII dissolved the Roman Catholic Church, who destroyed it. Now, I'm no religious scholar. In fact, it's the last thing that I'm interested in. Walsingham remains a major site of pilgrimage for the Roman Catholic followers, and the village is pretty much dominated by the church. Here's another ford. I don't think I'm going to be quite so reckless today. Doesn't look too deep, but I think I'll stick to this footbridge. No wet shoes today. Discretion was the better part of valour. There really are some super little villages around here. Very, very sleepy. nice preserved street, like something out of Harry Potter. Oh, this is it, the Holy House of Nazareth. Kind of interesting, but out of the two, I think I'll stick with Harry Potter. Far more exciting. Leaving Walsingham, the Lourdes of Norfolk, and heading towards Little and Great Snoring. Now here's an interesting fact. Little Snoring is actually bigger than Great Snoring. It's an old World War II pillbox. I wonder if Walsingham was designated some sort of important site worthy of protection in the Second World War. Got to keep that holy site protected at all costs. Wind's picked up. God, it's always in my face. Beautiful oilseed rape field, basking in the sunshine. Although this really is a sleepy part of Norfolk, the two villages of Snoring don't owe their names to the noise that you make while sleeping. In fact, their names are derived from an Anglo-Saxon word for snarling, which means sparkling or shiny, and probably refers to the River Stiffkey. That meanders its way around here and catches the sunlight. As we approach Little Snoring, I want to show you the airfield there. That was important in the Second World War. This part of Norfolk is absolutely littered with the remains of Second World War air bases, both RAF and US Air Force. But I got a few kilometres to pedal, so if you will indulge me just for a moment, I want to take you east of here by a few kilometres to a very unique remains of an old RAF airbase known as RAF Langham. This is RAF Langham, and that's a Spitfire. This is an anti-aircraft training simulator. I had to detour from the Rebellion Way just to bring you to this location. It's RAF Langham. It's the site of an old Second World War airfield and anti-aircraft training establishment. RAF Langham was a very active airfield in the Second World War, home to a host of different types of aircraft, including Halifax, Beaufighters, Mosquitoes, and it played a very important part in the coastal defence during the Second World War and subsequently in the Cold War. Being a pilot myself, I'm fascinated with anything to do with aviation. It's actually a very difficult skill to shoot down aircraft. And as early as World War I, German airship gunners streamed small parachutes behind their airships for practice for shooting at them. Just imagine trying to shoot a flying aircraft. It's incredibly hard. You have to aim at a point ahead of the aircraft so that the plane and the shell or the bullets arrive at the same point, and it takes a lot of practice. There are only a few of these domes constructed, and I believe that there are only 6 left in existence. Inside the dome there is a small museum. It's closed at the moment, so do check out the website for opening times if you're interested in coming down here. A number of picnic tables, lots of information. There's the Spitfire behind me that you can come and have a look at. And across the open fields there, you can still see the remains of some of the old RAF wartime buildings. During the Second World War, virtually most of Norfolk was an airfield, and I don't think you can travel in any direction more than about 5 or 10 kilometres and you'll come across the remains of an old airfield. So there you have it, folks. RAF Langham. Thanks for that brief detour away from the Rebellion Way. I just wanted to show you that because I think that's quite a fascinating piece of history. That's absolutely beautiful. This is the old airfield site known as RAF Little SNORING. The airfield at Little SNORING was commissioned in the Second World War, and it was the base for de Havilland Mosquito twin-engine bombers. There was a year where the Lancaster was based here, and also Bristol Beaufighters. Just over there is the main runway. It's still used for private flying. There is a small air club here. Little SNORING was originally based as a satellite airfield for one of the bigger airfields around here, but it became too important during the Second World War, so it established itself as a main base in its own right. You can see the old airfield tower building with the windsock on top of it, and over to the left are the new hangars of the air club. Coming into Thursford, if you happen to be doing the Rebellion Way in December by any chance, and you want to take in a Christmas show, then this is the place to come. Thursford. I went a couple of years ago with my family, and honestly, it was an incredibly professional show. The singing was fantastic, music was brilliant, and altogether a great experience. Definitely recommend it. Yeah, Thursford is an interesting and unique place. It's got loads of different type of steam engines, traction engines, Wurlitzers and all that sort of stuff. But at Christmas, the show that they put on is absolutely second to none. It's probably better than any of the West End shows that you'll find in London. And it's here in the heart of Norfolk. Check it out. Riding into Gunthorpe. Suitably refreshed at BYFORDS of Holt. Lovely village this, loads of pubs, cafes, and a couple of supermarkets to replenish your stocks. Keep your energy up. Well, thanks very much for joining me on this part of the Rebellion Way. That concludes this video. Thanks very much for watching. Keep watching for the final part of stage 4, where I'm riding from Holt up to Sheringham.